Get ready for a roller coaster of laughter and love in Kaguya-sama Love is War. This hilarious romantic comedy anime follows two cunning lovebirds as they engage in a playful battle of wits, trying to outsmart each other in their quest for love. Will they finally confess their feelings for each other? Find out in today's anime recap. Enjoy the fun-filled journey of Kaguya and Shirogane. Starting off the first episode of Kaguya-sama Love is War, the narrator gives an explanation of the prestigious Shuichun Academy. Then it shifts to focus on the student council president and vice president, Shirogane and Kaguya. As they head to the council room, they are admired by fellow students Kaden and Erika. Inside, they discuss rumors of a romantic relationship between them, but Shirogane secretly wishes Kaguya would beg him to be her boyfriend, while Kaguya thinks she would only consider a relationship if Shirogane begged her. We then get a time skip. Half a year has passed and neither of the two main characters, Shirogane and Kaguya, has shown any sign of giving in to the other's affection. Due to the prolonged period of no change between them, their thoughts begin to shift from not minding to date the other to wanting to make the other confess their feelings. Meanwhile, their secretary, Chika, offers them 2 tickets to a romance movie that she had won. Initially, Shirogane plans to accept the offer and ask Kaguya to join him. However, Chika mentions a superstition that when 2 people see a romance movie together, they become a couple. This causes Shirogane to downplay the idea and instead suggests they watch the movie together as friends. Kaguya, impressed by Shirogane's clever tactics, decides to take a bold move and grab Shirogane's hand, stating she is at an age where she wants to try some romance. At a stalemate, the only way Shirogane or Kaguya can win the battle is by eating a sugary steam bun, boosting their brain power. The two continue to playfully compete for the upper hand, but ultimately, their battle ends in a draw when Chika takes the last steamed bun and leaves for her afternoon classes. The following day, Kaguya discovers a love letter in her shoebox and shares this information with Chika and Shirogane in the student council room. Chika believes the sender wants to take Kaguya out on a date, but Shirogane disapproves of the idea of men seeking love in dates. However, when Chika asks Kaguya if she will accept the invitation, she replies yes, much to Shirogane's dismay. To dissuade Kaguya from accepting the invitation, Shirogane realizes that it would reveal his own feelings for her. Meanwhile, Kaguya's plan to accept the invitation was a bluff, and she has several astronomical prerequisites for going on a date. This leads to a battle of wits between the two, with Shirogane using his power as student council president to prevent such illicit acts, and Kaguya rebutting by stating she'll accept the offer even if it means expulsion. Kaguya also declares that she's willing to pour her body and soul into this date, leaving Shirogane speechless. In the end, Shirogane offers to confess his own love for the sake of argument, leading to a heated debate about the authenticity of Kaguya's love for her admirer. Shirogane threatens to tell a teacher about the relationship and have her expelled. Eventually, Chika becomes emotional and embraces Kaguya, confessing her own feelings and pleading for Kaguya not to be expelled. In the end, Kaguya loses the battle. The next day, Shirogane and Kaguya spot a couple sitting on a bench and having a moment together. This scene disconcerts Kaguya, as she deems it improper, but Shirogane is unfazed and begins to eat his lunch. Kaguya is intrigued by the contents of Shirogane's lunch, but her pride prevents her from asking to try it. However, Chika compliments Shirogane's lunch and he allows her to try some. As Chika praises the taste, Kaguya scorns Shirogane, which he misinterpreted as her disliking his lunch. To rectify this, he pours her some miso soup. As Chika enjoys the taste, Kaguya remembers her past with her friend. In an act of revenge, Kaguya brings a luxurious lunch the following day, but her plan backfires as Shirogane becomes anxious and quickly finishes his lunch before leaving. Kaguya is mortified and consoled by Chika, who offers her something from her lunch. This act of kindness leads to a resolution between Kaguya and Chika, and the battle is won by Kaguya as Shirogane surrenders by fleeing. In episode 2, we learn that although he is a cheapskate, Shirogane finally gave in and purchased a smartphone. He exchanges IDs with Chika and hopes that Kaguya will follow suit, but she abstains. Perturbed by this, Shirogane cannot ask to exchange numbers with Kaguya as he would lose face doing so, thereby reinforcing the rumors of a romantic relationship between the two. Meanwhile, Kaguya is fully aware of Shirogane's motive and decides to incite a battle between the two regarding who asks who first for their respective number. However, with neither side wanting to concede to the other, Shirogane decides to up the ante by updating his profile picture with a picture of when he was a kid. Chika compliments how cute he looked, intriguing Kaguya's interest. Noting how embarrassing the picture is, Shirogane proclaims he'll change it in 3 minutes. In retaliation, Kaguya uses fake tears to manipulate Shirogane into showing the picture, which works. Ultimately, the outcome of the battle is a draw, as Chika mentions that Kaguya's phone has Miu's number now. As the cold weather prompts Chika to wish for summer, Shirogane reminds her that spring is just around the corner. However, Chika retorts that time flies too fast and that kind of careless thinking would mean that they'd accomplish nothing in the space in between. This hurtful remark not only affects Shirogane, but also Kaguya. Realizing her mistake, Chika has an epiphany to go on a student council trip in the summer. Kaguya wholeheartedly agrees with the idea and suggests an informal social gathering. Shirogane also favors the idea, particularly the idea of feeling partial in the mountain area. However, Kaguya has a different idea in mind and blatantly suggests they go to the sea instead. This incites a battle between choosing whether to go to the mountains or the sea over the summer. The two debate on the pros and cons of their choices, and when it appears that Kaguya has won, Chika confesses that she needs a new swimsuit. She admits that her old one doesn't fit her anymore due to her bigger bust size. Hearing this mortifies Kaguya because her chest is flat. Kaguya is insecure about her chest size and believes that Chika would steal the president away with her new swimsuit. To settle their argument, the two decide to let Chika choose the final destination. Despite Kaguya's efforts, Chika ultimately decides on the mountains. However, the mountain she chooses is terrifying and the outcome of the battle is ruined. Speaking of trips, why don't you take a trip down to the comment section and answer the question of the day? How long will it take for these two klutzes to confess their love for each other? Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Every video we will pick one comment for a shoutout. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video for more content and a chance to be chosen. Now, onto the video. The next day, a student named Tsubasa asks Shirogane for some romance advice. Despite Tsubasa's request for romance advice, Shirogane is reluctant to share any advice due to his own lack of experience. Nevertheless, he agrees to help Tsubasa, who is in love with Nagisa but fears rejection. Kaguya also joins in on the conversation, and Tsubasa reveals that Nagisa sent him chocolate. However, Shirogane's assumption that Nagisa is also in love with Tsubasa is quickly disproved when Tsubasa mentions a conversation between Nagisa and her friends about him being single. Shirogane sees the situation differently, believing that Nagisa and her friends are all interested in Tsubasa. Initially, the girls didn't openly reveal their feelings to Tsubasa, fearing it could damage their friendship. However, with Shirogane's guidance, Tsubasa decides to confront Nagisa and ask her out. Excited by this advice, Tsubasa praises Shirogane for his ability to conquer Kaguya. However, Shirogane denies any romantic involvement with Kaguya. Puzzled by this revelation, Tsubasa is further confused when Shirogane begins to list off Kaguya's flaws and annoying habits. But suddenly, Shirogane claims that these very things are what he likes about her most. Unbeknownst to him, Kaguya had been listening in on the conversation this whole time. Only when Shirogane noticed her did he start to compliment Kaguya. Eventually, Shirogane advises Tsubasa to be honest with his feelings, which leads to Tsubasa successfully gaining a girlfriend. As a result, Shirogane loses his battle with Kaguya, but surprisingly, she becomes kinder toward him. The next day, it turns out that the headmaster has confiscated a dirty magazine. This intrigues Kaguya, and after Chika reads a bit of it, she notes how lewd it is. A survey published in the magazine showed that approximately 34% of high school students have already done it in their life. This revelation caused Chika to become flustered and Shirogane to become curious, prompting him to read the magazine himself. However, upon inspecting the magazine, Kaguya reveals that she believes the percentage to be much higher. Furthermore, she shocks Chika and Shirogane by openly admitting that she has done it before. Seeking to exploit this newfound information, Kaguya tries to make Shirogane confess his love to her. She instigates him by asking if he has a girlfriend, to which he answers that he does not at the moment. This prompts Kaguya to press him if he has done it before. Bluffing that he has, Kaguya mistakenly believes that Shirogane has had sexual experiences with his little sister. Outraged by this comment, Shirogane calls Kaguya out on her backwards logic. Feeling mentally cornered, Shirogane asks Kaguya if she knows what first time means. She answers that it is kissing, revealing that due to her upbringing, her knowledge of sexual education is severely inadequate. As a result, Chika steps in to educate Kaguya on the matter, ultimately leading to her loss. A day later, we cut to evening time at the student council office, and both Shirogane and Kaguya are working. The two start talking about how much Kaguya has changed since the school year began, and how Shirogane has a better understanding of her now. To test Shirogane's knowledge about her, Kaguya challenges him to a game of 20 questions about something she likes. He accepts the challenge, and as the game progresses, Shirogane deduces the answer may be him, which is corroborated by the sequential answers to his questions. However, Shirogane knows her better and answers that it's a dog, which is correct. With that, the two leave for the day, and the day's test was passed. The next day, something abnormal happens. Normally, Kaguya would be driven to school by her chauffeur. However, due to a cat getting caught in the engine, she decides to walk to school. Although her chauffeur tries to dissuade her, Kaguya's personal maid, vouches for her to walk to school alone. Recalling that Shirogane rides his bike to school, Kaguya plans on running into him once he crosses the bridge. However, her plan changes when she unexpectedly runs into a little girl named Mikiti. Although initially hesitant, Kaguya agrees to cross the street with Mikiti and is roped into walking her to school. As they make their way to Mikiti's school, the two become acquainted with one another until they run into Mikiti's friend named Ienaga. At that moment, Shirogane appears before Kaguya and chastises her for walking to school, which would make her late and set a bad example for the student council. Consequently, Kaguya decides to ride on the back of Shirogane's bike, and the two head to school. Days later, Kaguya once again is driven to school, and on the way, sees Mikiti and Ienaga walking to school together. What a heartwarming way to end the third episode. The question on everyone's mind is, will Kaguya finally muster up the courage to confess to Shirogane, or will Shirogane beat her to it and be the first to reveal his true feelings? Don't miss out on the next episode of our Kaguya-sama Love is War recaps to see who will make the big move first.